Go on a wild camping trip in Neon Studios' In the Earth, written and directed by Ben Wheatley, who directed Kill List and Sightseers. And this is one of the trippiest movies I've seen this side of Teton that I just reviewed a little bit ago. Please check that out if you haven't already. And that's certainly an interesting movie, but I'm here to talk about In the Earth. And I was excited to see all the way back when it was, first talked about. I was like, all right, this looks cool. I love Neon Studios, like I love A24 films, and I just, I love both those studios. They usually produce pretty damn worthwhile content. Now, not every movie they make is perfect or even great, but at least they get people talking for good, bad, or indifferent, and that's going to be the case with In the Earth. Now, this movie is not for everybody, and I do want to say that the warning they have at the very beginning, be warned, this movie contains intense sequences that may trigger those susceptible to, basically photosensitive epilepsy. Basically, anybody that has epileptic, issues, you're not going to like this movie, and you shouldn't watch this movie. I don't have any epileptic issues, thank fuck, because I know people that do, and it's got to be fucking brutal. And this movie gave me a headache at times. And I'll get into spoilers here in a little bit, but this is very trippy, very weird, and while it's not for everybody, I did like quite a bit of it. I liked some obscure movies as long as they draw me in, and this drew me in with its atmosphere. And while the acting was at time a little bit odd, in fact, I would argue that because it's a small cast, outside of 4 particular characters, they're a little bit fleshed out, and then a lot of stuff is left up to the imagination. It's very visually appealing, though, and Ben Wheatley understands, subtlety and how to, build to things. And even though he'll suddenly just throw stuff at you, kind of like with Kill List, and if you didn't care for Kill List, you might not care for this. This centers around, basically they're in a time, this is set somewhere in the UK. I'm not actually totally sure where in the UK because I don't know my UK geography, but there is a virus just wreaking havoc worldwide, and scientists are trying to find a cure. So pretty much this movie is actually very, very goddamn timely. And we center on this one particular outpost outside some woods. Whose woods these are, I have no clue. And we focus on Martin, who is being talked to by various people at this outpost, and he's going to go with the park ranger, Alma, and Alma played by Elora Torchia, and I had to write that name down because I was going to screw that up. Very beautiful, I do want to say. And they're going to go into the woods, but they have to test Martin. They have to make sure he's all right. People are wearing masks because, this is filmed during the pandemic. So, again, very timely in the whole story. So, people have disappeared in the woods. People have been attacked, and these woods are dangerous. Okay, so let's send these people into the goddamn woods, even though they aren't properly equipped, even though they have the sleeping bags and other stuff and whatever. Let's just send these people into the goddamn woods. Some of this was reminiscent of Annihilation. It had Natalie Portman in it. Except this is like if Annihilation was actually good, because Annihilation was absolute shit. The concept was fine, but it was a bit more... I can't even really say that was a bit more sci-fi-ish, because this was a little sci-fi-ish as well. And Martin is trying to find this particular doctor, Olivia, and trying to... because he has a bit of a connection with her. She disappeared in the woods. They had broken off contact because she stopped contacting him because she disappeared in the woods, and... okay, there are people being attacked and whatever, but let's just go into the woods and figure out what's going on. And boy, do they figure out what's going on. There are some weird things going on here. Some trippy imagery. People are a little bit strange. It's a small cast, so it does center just around a few people. And again, more trippy imagery. The flashing images don't come until a little bit later. But boy, when they hit, it gave me a goddamn headache. I still have a headache, and I just watched this movie. So it is not for everybody. Make sure you probably have the lights on. Don't watch this in the dark. And again, if you have any kind of epileptic issues, don't watch it. Just don't. Just do not watch it, because I think it's going to trigger a lot of that stuff. At least I would imagine so, considering they put that warning there. Martin and Alma end up, one night, they wake up and their shoes are missing and they're attacked. And then they stumble upon this one person that's, helping them, living in the woods and everything, living off the grid. Well, then things start to get really weird and trippy and stuff like that, and as they journey onwards, there's always this danger that's lurking behind them. It's really, really hard to describe without spoilers, but as the movie gets weirder and weirder, you wonder if people were taking psychedelic drugs, those making it and those acting in it. And there are times where the characters act a little bit strange, but considering they're dealing with issues that are beyond their control, and there's this weird stone penis that's in the poster. Thank you very much, Bobby. I will never be able to unsee that. Giant stone penis with a hole in it and everything. So, Mother Nature can just flow it out right there, or Father Time or anybody can just flow that out. Or maybe somebody can suck off the giant stone penis. I'm going to keep saying stone penis to make it as uncomfortable as possible. And that is kind of the center of this because there's some weird shit going on in the woods. And some people may think that there's more there, or maybe there's a weird thing with something trying to connect with the people. Maybe it's Mother Nature. Maybe it's, maybe it's some kind of weird spirit. We don't really know. And we can find out a little bit later. But anyway, it's very strange. It's very odd, but it is very well done. There are times where I was cringing a little bit at some of the violence, is what it is, but I wasn't like looking away. I was like, oh, okay, I see. This definitely is from the guy that did Kill List. But it's also very good. It's not perfect. There are some way too obscure moments, and it seems like sometimes people will just do shit and they'll just disappear, reappear, and stuff like that, and it's kind of odd. But it is like if you took a bunch of psychedelic drugs, and it's very, very strange. So it's well worth checking out. It's on Hulu if you have Hulu, and I think it's available on Amazon for a very cheap price. But make sure to check it out. Let me know what you think. Now I am going to get into spoilers, though, because it's going to be hard to explain anything with this movie without spoilers. But these spoilers will not take very long because I'm still not even sure what I totally watched. Anyway, spoilers. Okay, so, yeah, they're in the woods. Martin talks about talking to Olivia and everything, and we find out some obscure things. They stumble upon the, or one night they get attacked by somebody that turns out to be one of the two other people in the movie. Maybe not. Maybe it's the Blair Witch crew that was attacking them, not the DK crew, because it's not DK, Donkey. Okay, I'm going to stop that because Nintendo may be watching, because Nintendo always watches everything. At least I didn't use the actual music. They end up having their shoes taken. Who takes shoes, honestly? Clearly somebody that wants to lure them to their camp so they can do stuff. Like, give them shoes, give them stuff and everything, and give them a brew that knocks them out and does experiments on them. Because there is this thing called Parnag, Parnag Feg, that is, and that's Feg with an E and two G's, by the way, that's a folk tale and everything. It's some kind of weird creature that could live in the woods. Some kids went missing in the 70s, so now they tell that tale to basically keep the kids out of that. But this stuff goes all the way back to the 1600s. There's some weird Wiccan stuff about it. This guy Zach is basically fucked up in the head and tries to kill them. He puts them in weird ritualistic stuff. They manage to escape after Martin gets some of his foot chopped off. He gets like a couple toes chopped off. It's very uncomfortable. He also had to get his foot sewn up because he got his foot taken care of, or flopped around. But boy, that was very, or he got his foot cut and the skin was flapping around. Good practical effects, by the way. So they managed to escape from that and give him a massive head wound because he believes that this creature, this Feg is, this Parnag or whatever it is, whatever the actual name is trying to communicate with him. And there's that weird stone penis thing that we see. And then they stumble upon another encampment. After dealing with some flashing lights and imagery and all that stuff, and it was very, very trippy. They stumble upon the camp of Olivia, who is living out in the woods, and talks to Martin and everything, and it turns out that this guy, Zach, is her ex-husband. She's just as batshit as he is, and she's been doing some experiment stuff, like, figuring out sounds in a sequence and everything for a language to communicate with whatever this is, communicate with nature, because there's something in this nature preserve, this forest, that is trying to communicate with them. And it turns out that she's just as nuts as he is. They try to, set up something where even though they're not living that far away, she's like, oh, well, we separated. He went off the deep end. It turns out they were working together and pushing Alma and Martin, towards her to really get them to be part of this ritual. And Alma also at one point ends up seeing all this trippy imagery when she gets a hazmat suit on and sees this fog embankment, this weird stuff. I told you it was going to be a bit hard to describe this in spoilers because I'm not really sure what the fuck I saw. And from there, this couple tries to dispatch Martin and Alma. Well, after Zach tries to, get to Alma, she ends up stabbing him in the head with a goddamn hook and pushing it through his skull. That was pretty goddamn good. And then I guess Olivia, experienced this stuff, but she ended up seemingly dying. Alma maybe got taken over or something because she looks over Martin and says, let me guide you out of the woods. And scene. That's it. I don't know I don't know what the fuck happened. I have no idea. I have no goddamn clue. It's all up in the air and everything. Maybe this creature or this whatever needed to possess somebody to guide and maybe, push on the message and whatever. It was really, really odd. But it was certainly a movie that held my attention. I just didn't quite understand every fucking thing that was going on because it was just so weird. But was it good? Yeah, it was good. It was good, and it's certainly not for everybody, and I'm giving it an A-. It's trippy, it's crazy, and all the stuff going on and everything. Again, if you're epileptic, you're not really going to care for it, and I wouldn't advise watching it, but I would say give it a chance, especially if you have Hulu. Let me know what you think. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.